you go one direction or the other. So
right. Well, I think it would be stronger. I didn't.
we ought to get in there instead of trying to tease into it.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Jackie, how are you?
Doing good.
Good. Just asking if there's any area of the body you want to focus on or avoid today. We just had a request for the mid back area.
Okay, great.
Want to focus it? All right. Focus. Okay, so I have the usual setup: my chair and something to slide the feet on, and a couple of blocks. And it is being recorded, so if you guys want your webcams off, that would be fine. And then let's see the view. I put my camera on as the pin, so that should make it good for you all. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. My class is up here. Forget to turn that, knock that down a little bit when I leave. All right, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
My speaker's over here where I'm coming through. All right, so let's start with our, sorry, let me just shut the door. Jeez. All right, so let's start with a little centering. Feet on the floor. I like to sit a little bit forward, which helps work the core strength a little bit more. If the back gets tired, sitting upright, then by all means lean back. Let's see if we can just sit upright for a little bit. Hands can rest anywhere you like, any way you like. We're going to do Lujayi. So the Uj region is the throat region. And so this is called a throat breath. Even though you're breathing in through your nose, the focus of where the breath is kind of pulled into the body is at the back of the throat. There's actually a pressure point there that we want to take the breath against. That helps do two things simultaneously. It's very calming and relaxing and energizing. There's a few pressure points on the body that have that sort of magical ability to energize you in a calm way. So it's not like you're getting all hyper. It's that you had more energy to get through the day. And it's not like a big buzz like a cup of coffee. So you're not going to like get the shakes, but you just feel good and yet calm. So that's this pressure point at the back of the throat where we're going to aim to pull the breath into our body from. And it's described, I'll describe it a couple different ways anyway. One way I like to think about it is when you think of your nasal passageway as this tube, and you can pull the breath in right at the tip of the tube, right at the tip of your nose, and it'll sound more sniffly, like, and that's really having the focus or the force or the pull of the breath right at the tip. And most of us pull the breath in someplace further behind that. But now I want you to focus on pulling it way back in the back, almost like you're about to yawn, or even you can think of it as about to snore. So really pulling that breath way, way back. And it will make a different sound. So the one in the front, the tip of the nose, makes that more sniffly sound. The one in the back makes this sound inside. You might hear it in your ear. Some people call it the ocean breath. One author called it the Darth Vader breath, and but it's called Lujayi, the victorious breath, or actually it literally means master over the upper region, over this throat region. So let's master this throat region with this breath. And then some people get that ability to take the breath right there on either the inhale or the exhale, and you really want to start to play with both to get it on both. And the more you play with this, the more it will come. Another way I've heard it described is though you have a mirror in front of your mouth and you're gonna, you know, to fog up the mirror and keep doing that ha sound, but close your mouth over it so the breath comes through the nose. And sometimes that works for folks. Sometimes I've heard it also described as though you're sort of whispering. Now I'm whispering. And you want to, as though you could whisper as you breathe in, whispering as you breathe in. It's very difficult, but that starts to pull the breath in different ways in your body. All of these are good things to practice. Just, these ancient yogis must have sat around the fire and toyed with each other, playing these games or something. Who knows how these all got started. So the idea is just to start to play with the breath and imagine your nasal passageway is this tube, and where you pull the breath in, that tube can shift and change. So begin to pull it way, way back and into this breath we know as victory over the upper regions. Jaya means victory, and Uj is the throat region. You don't want the breath to sound really loud. I'm trying to exaggerate the sound so that you can hear it, but you really want it only to be loud enough for you to hear. And then whether that breath is coming or not, we're going to start to add some movement to whatever breath is coming for you. And we'll start with arm movements, and they can be as small or as large as you like. I usually like to start smaller and get larger as they go. You can do these palm flips in the beginning. Sorry, keep going. And you can do one arm at a time or both, as I'm doing. When the movement starts to get a little larger, see if you can get the spine involved as well. So when you inhale the arms up, a little baby back bend. And when the arms come down, just relax the spine. All right, next time you take your arms up and out, hold right there, whether it's one or both. Hold right there for a breath, really squeezing the bottom tips of the shoulder blades together. And then on the next exhale, relax. We're going to do that one more time just in case anyone was doing one arm at a time. You'll be doing your other arm now. Squeeze the bottom tips of the shoulder blades as you stay there. Wait for the next exhale to bring it back down. So the bottom tips of the shoulder blade starts to get into that mid-back region, which we're going to focus on today. Really, that's an area where we tend to round and kind of, we have several places in the spine where people sort of what I call dump. You round your shoulders, or you kind of dump in the belly or in that mid-back region. So they will focus on that mid-back region and kind of preventing it from being this place where we dump. And to find out where you dump, just sit tall for a moment. Sit as tall as you can from the crown of your head to the tailbone pubic bone area, right in between those two bones. Get as long as possible. So I think about the tailbone and pubic bone each having a string tied to them, and they're being pulled down toward the earth together at some point in the middle of the earth. And so the pelvic floor, the center of the pelvic floor, is pulled opposite of this top of your head, going in one direction. So two strings pulling downward and one string pulling upward. And then if you imagine somebody just sort of cut those strings, and what gives way first? What relaxes first? Where in the spine do you sort of let go first? That will probably be the area where you dump. So for some people, it's the belly, some people it's the shoulder, some people it's the head, and some people it's that middle back. And so if your middle back is holding tight and you dumped someplace else, that gives us information that that's an area that you just hold tension. Or it may be the area where you sort of let go of first. So maybe those shoulder blades, you felt them wing out a little bit, and the ribs in the back there maybe kind of relaxed more or dumped more. So get to know where your posture lets go first, and where are you holding tight. Let's do that one more time. Pull the tailbone and pubic bone down, lengthen through the crown of the head up. Feel like you have a friend or friends helping you pull those strings so you're as tall as possible, and then they snip those strings, and what happens? Where do you let go? Where are you still holding tight? All right, and so you can do that on a regular basis just to get to know, because sometimes that does shift as we make corrections and do our yoga practice. Things shift and change. So today, as I said, we're going to focus on that mid-back region, which is an area where either people dump there or they hold tension and hold tight. So we're going to kind of sort of delve into that area a little bit. First, we'll warm the spine up with more movements. So we'll start with a rounded spine. As you exhale, you can look down, and a back bend as deep as comfortable for you on the inhale. So back and forth, a couple of those. Even here, you want to kind of visualize your spine moving evenly. So you want your spine to go, a back bend and a forward bend evenly, and feel where it may not be. So if you picture all those vertebrae moving, so you have a nice curve in both directions. And some people have some vertebrae that kind of feel like they may be sort of stuck together or moved together. Some people actually may have some fusion. Vertebrae fused together that do stick together. Tell it's allergy season here, North Carolina. Excuse me, sorry about that. And then come together to come to neutral. We'll take our laterals next. Hands to the hips, long spine, those two pulls. Inhale, and on the exhale, over to one direction. And again, you're looking for a curve to the spine evenly where no vertebrae stick together. Or paying attention to where they stick together. That may be a spot you want to focus on, unless they're naturally fused together or by surgery fused together. And that's supposed to stick together, and so we're not going to do anything for it. So it'll just be sort of a large, think of it as one larger vertebrae. You want it to move fluidly above and below that, and not too much above and below that. So just because there's freedom above and below that where it's fused, you don't want to overdo it there, or you're going to end up needing confusion above and below that area. All right, the last two movements are twists. So on the inhale, again, lengthen. You can add the arms if you like. And on the exhale, twisting, nice and gentle, opposite arm to the knee. Back up on the inhale, second side. And repeat. So the more you do this cactus pose arms, this is what we call cactus pose arms, this sort of like a saguaro cactus, and squeeze the bottom tips of the shoulder blades in toward each other, we'll be kind of waking up that mid-back area. Think of the bottom tips of the shoulder blades like right where the bra strap is. Even if you're a male, you know where the bra strap is. And then other side. Yeah, so those twists are a good way to get through the entire spine from the, the head to the tail. And you want to focus on the spine twisting evenly, laterally evenly, or this forward and back bend evenly. And look for where it feels tight or stuck. For most of us, somewhere in the rib cage, the ribs kind of provide more structure to the spine. Right here, we have nothing else. There's no, ribs or anything in our neck. There's no ribs in the waistline area. So we tend to move more in these two regions and less in the thoracic spine where your ribs come in and attach. And so most of us move more in the waist or in the neck and less here. So what I want you to focus on is moving less here and here and more here. And we're going to use our shoulder blades. Excuse me. We'll use our shoulder blades to help kind of wake up that. It's kind of a dead zone on most of us because we really focus on moving from our head and our waistline area. You can imagine you have one of those big weightlifter belts on to prevent you from moving so much in the waist, and then really focus on not moving your head and keeping your head in line with the rest of the spine. And then focus on waking up these rib cage area. So when we do a lateral to one side, you're really opening and spreading the ribs on one side, and the ribs on the other side are getting closer together, right? And when we twist, you're going to really imagine twisting in the rib area, not so much the waist and the neck. All right, so we're going to take the lateral and the twists again and go perhaps a little deeper. I'm going to ask you to take your feet just a little wider apart. That'll make the twist go a little bit deeper because the arm has to reach just a little further to get to that knee. And the laterals, you can go deeper by sliding your hand down the chair leg, or if you have blocks, then you can go all the way to the block. All right, so let's start again. We're going to go the cat movement, which is the rounded spine. The cow movement is the back bend. A lateral to one side, a lateral to the other, a twist to one side, a twist to the other, all in sequence. So we'll do all 6 directions, and then we'll repeat it. Ready? Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rounded spine. Inhale, back bend. You can cactus pose the arms. Exhale, hands to the hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, a lateral to one side. Take that down arm somewhere. You can bring the top arm to like a cactus pose arm and squeeze the shoulder blades toward each other. Really focus on opening the top half of the rib cage while the bottom half is kind of scrunching. And then come on back up. Exhale the arms down. Inhale back up, cactus pose. And the other side, lateral. Let's keep that arm in cactus pose. Down arm finds a place. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, not just that top arm shoulder blade, but the bottom arm as well. So if you want to move your hand or block back to help bring both shoulder blades toward each other, and then make sure you're still opening these top ribs. Getting that lateral in there. And then come on back up. Exhale the arms down. Back up, cactus pose arms. And a twist. Take your hand over to the opposite knee and the other hand to the back of the chair or chair seat. And I prefer the chair back if you can, or even your elbow on the chair back there. You can see my elbow on the chair back. That way you can kind of do cactus pose arms and get those shoulder blades working for you. If your hand is on the chair, that's fine too. You can use your pressure of your hand on the chair or the chair seat or wherever your hand is to work your shoulder blades in toward each other. And again, don't just do one shoulder and that back arm, do the front arm too. Don't roll it forward. So squeezing both shoulder blades in toward each other. Keep breathing. Lujayi, if you can grab that breath. And then on your inhale, come on back up. Arms down. Just taking our arms down in between. Inhale, cactus pose. Keep those shoulder blades squeezing toward each other as you twist. Use your shoulder blades in toward each other. Tailbone and pubic bone down, crown of the head up. And then back to neutral. Yes, it that way, and exhale the arms down. Let's take a cat-cow here. Exhale. Cactus pose, arms on the inhale. Lateral. Shoulder blades. Open the top half of your rib cage. Keep breathing. And back up. Shoulder blades. Second side. Shoulder blades again. Open the top half of the rib cage. A little bit more. Shoulder blades. Keep breathing. Lujayi if you got it. And back up. Arms down. Cactus pose. Inhale. Exhale into the twist. Shoulder blades. Tailbone and pubic bone down, crown of the head up. Shoulder blades. See if you can twist the rib cage around just a smidge more. Exhale, and on the inhale, back to neutral. Second side. Shoulder blades. Rib cage turn just a bit more. Keep breathing. Tailbone and pubic bone down, crown of the head up. Lujayi. Inhale to center. And exhale, let's do cat-cow. So see if that area has started to wake up and maybe some muscles that you haven't used in a while just got woken up. And hopefully they will be talking to you tomorrow. All right, let's bring our feet onto whatever your floor will allow you to slide your feet on. So I've got furniture sliders here, and on carpet, paper plates work as just as well. If you're on a hard surface, a towel or your socks perhaps, or a blanket or something. All right, we're going to do both feet simultaneously. And I've got my heels on what I'm going to slide on. My toes are up and I'm inhaling, stretching my heels out. Exhale, bend the knees and bring it back in. Inhale, heels out. Exhale, back in. If you'd like to add one or both arms, cactus pose. Inhale. Exhale, you can bring your hands to the knees. And repeat. Inhale, cactus pose. Really focus on the shoulder blade tips, the bottom tips. Exhale, back in. Shoulder blade tips in, so a little bit of a back bend. Exhale. And the back bend is really at the rib cage. You're not trying to do a back bend at your lower back. Exhale. Inhale, heels out, and we're going to stay right here. Relax the arms on the exhale. Back up, shoulder blades in toward each other on the inhale. And now bring it back in, knees in, hands to the knees. Do that one more time. Inhale, shoulder blade tips in. Stay here, relax the arms down on the exhale. Arms up, shoulder blade tips in on the inhale. And everything eases back in on the exhale. All right, just keep your hands down and take one leg, one foot, one leg, going out on the inhale. And then out to the side on a next inhale. Heel out on the inhale and back in on the exhale. Keep going out at different angles. And then pick one of those angles and hold. We're going to turn the foot in from the hip hinge and out. And in and out. More time in, one more time out, and then in neutral, and point and flex. And circle the ankle around both directions. And bring it back in and work your way back up to the front. Reach the heel out, spread the toes, curl the toes forward, flex the toes back, spread the toes again, and bring the leg in. We'll do all that on the other side now. Heel up, out on the inhale, exhale back in and going out up to the side, those angles. Inhale, exhale, it bends. Lujayi. Keep your shoulder blades in toward each other. Use your hands on your chair to help. Pick a place to wait and from the hip hinge, roll the thigh bone in the socket, in the hip socket, and out. At any range of motion that's available to your hip today. And then hold it in neutral and point and flex. Circles, a couple of times each direction. Flex and work your way back up to the top. Once you're at the top, hold the foot and flex, spread the toes, curl the toes forward, back again, spread the toes, and release back to neutral. All right, we're going to position our body on at the corner of the chair on the angle so that we can use our chair back or to deepen the twist. So we'll inhale the arms up, cactus pose, arms, and then take a twist, hand to the opposite knee, other hand to the chair back. And so the shoulder blades are going to come in toward each other. Use whatever your hands are touching to help bring your shoulder blades in toward each other. And tailbone and pubic bone down, crown of the head up. And it's almost like you want to do a back bend in just the rib cage area. So keep your hip points in toward each other, toning the belly, preventing you. Remember, you got that big weightlifter waist, like a weightlifter belt with a big ruby, or whatever they have there, a big ruby gemstone. It feels so good. And then release back to neutral. Right here, we'll take a cat-cow. And then walk your way over to the other side, other corner of your chair. Inhale, cactus pose, arms. Exhale, twist. And to the back of the chair, opposite hand to the knee. Really focus on those shoulder blades coming in toward each other. Tailbone and pubic bone down. Your hip points are toward each other. You can get a tiny bit more of like a back bend in your rib cage. Open the ribs in the front of the body. And then release. Doesn't that feel nice? Really waking that area up today, aren't we? All right, we're going to give that area just a little bit of a rest now as we come back down to the legs, which we'll do on that angle again. You'll need one slider on the leg that's closest to the screen. We're back on that corner. The leg closest to the screen is on whatever you're sliding on, and just start to take the leg sort of in a lunge at different angles. So we kind of did the angles from the front out to the side. Now we're looking for the side and further back. And your foot and heel and all that can turn and do whatever they like. So you can find different stretches by turning your ankle and foot. All right, pick one of those spokes and hold right there. And we're looking for a stretch into the hip, into the front of the hip. Pause there. While you're pausing, pay attention to what your spine is doing and those shoulder blades. So you're not rounded, or where did you find out that you sort of dump or release in, and prevent that from happening. So you're kind of working your core muscles a little bit more to kind of correct or counter your habit. And then release that back leg. And we'll switch it over and do that on the other side. Walk it around. Off on the other corner. The leg closest to the screen is on your slider. And start to play with some of those angles toward the back. Letting the leg go out, extending on the inhale, bending it back in on the exhale. Your foot and heel can turn any old way. And then find one of those spokes to hold. And as you're there holding, pay attention to the rest of the spine, the rest of the body. What can you do to make a difference there in what you're sort of countering your habit? Mr. Deskachar, my teacher, says, our yoga practice must be smarter than our habit. Yes, so exhale, bend the knees back in, and let's come to face forward. And here we'll take a cat-cow. All right, we're going to go through a sun salute. This will just loosen all the major muscle groups or work all the major muscle groups depending on how your body is. If you have been more sedentary, this will work it. If you've been working your body hard, hopefully this will loosen it up a little bit. And what we just did, maybe you're like, yeah, we just worked it hard. And so always checking in with your body. You don't have to do everything I say. Obviously, you run it by your heart. And if your heart says, okay, yeah, I'll do that, then you do it. Otherwise, you can skip whatever you want, right? All right, so on the exhale, well, the first position is just sitting upright, hands in any position you like. And then the second position is arms up. I'm going to encourage us all to do the cactus pose arms and really working those shoulder blades in toward each other on the inhale. And then the exhale is a forward bend, which can be like a cat pose like we've been doing, or your forearms, elbows resting on your thighs, or you can fold further forward, any type of movement like that. We'll do a couple of those first three positions, and then we'll start to add on more in the sun salute. All right, so first position, exhale. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, your forward bend of choice. Inhale, cactus pose. And exhale back to start. I'll repeat those three. Inhale, cactus pose. Exhale, forward bend of choice. Back up, cactus pose arms. And relax to start. All right, next we'll add on the lunge. So from our forward bend, whatever your forward bend position is, either you're all the way down or you're in a cat pose, we're going to take a lunge. And so the lunge can be just simply lifting the heel and bringing your hands to the back of the knee or anywhere on the knee. Or you can pick that foot up off the floor and kind of lean back. You can stretch that leg out. Anything like that would be your lunge position. After the lunge, we're going to stretch both legs out straight and arms up, cactus pose. This will be our downward dog position. Then we're going to take a back bend. You can bend the knees or keep them straight, doesn't matter. We'll take a back bend using our hands behind us, really focusing on the back bend in the rib cage area, not just pushing the belly forward and not throwing the head up. You need to keep your chin tucked and pull your belly in and really use your shoulder blades to get your back bend. And then we'll reverse back through those poses. All right, position one. Excuse me. Sorry. All right, position one. Exhale. Cactus pose arms on the inhale. Any forward bend. A lunge. And then both legs are going to go out straight and cactus pose the arms. And then bring your hands back behind you. Your legs can stay straight or bend. You're focusing on a back bend. Pull your tummy in. Keep your chin a little tucked. Really focus on the shoulder blades and expanding the rib 1 off of rib 2 from rib 3, expanding the front rib cage more. Take a breath here. And then back to downward dog. And we'll do the lunge on the other side. And your forward bend. Back up for cactus pose arms. And to start. Let's do that again. Inhale, cactus pose arms. Forward bend. Lunge. Downward dog. Legs straight, arms up. In this case, we're going to do cactus pose arms. And then a back bend. Ah, feels so good. Downward dog again. And then we're going to lunge on the other side. And fold over your legs or any forward bend. All the way up, arms up. And back to start. All right, and we'll take some standing poses. Let's do these either at that corner angle, or if you want to go a little deeper with that back leg, you could turn all the way to the side of your chair. Have your slider there on the leg that's toward the screen. And set that back leg at one of those spokes toward the back half, any spoke that feels okay for you to stay on. And let's turn toward the front leg. So we're going to fold over the front leg, but I don't want you to round the waistline. Remember, you got that big weight lifter belt there. So you're going to fold at the hip hinge and do a back bend in your rib cage by squeezing your shoulder blades toward each other. Exhale. Stay here for the inhale, focusing on getting that back bend in your shoulder blade area. And then come on back up. Inhale the arms up. And then twist from your rib cage, not the shoulders. Think about the ribs turning. So think about the ribs that are toward the screen, like someone's pulling that rib cage back. Keep your shoulder blades in toward each other. And then let the arms go out straight without sacrificing the shoulder blades. Keep your shoulder blades in toward each other. Keep the shoulder blades in toward each other as you bring elbow to thigh. Shoulder blade in as you reach an arm. Shoulder blade still in. Check, check. Good. And as you take that arm around, like I'm just kind of waving my arm around, see that your shoulder blades stay in. All right, and then come on back up. Lengthen the rib cage up, like you lift the rib cage up away from the pelvis. Get a little taller, but not lifting your shoulders up. Keep your shoulder blades in toward each other. Can the rib cage lift up underneath the shoulder blades so the shoulder blades stay where they're at? And then turn to face forward, cactus pose arms. Forward meaning toward your front knee. And then relax the arms down, bend the back knee, and just pause. Sometimes when you're mindfulness, when you're moving in a different way, the pose feels much different. So hopefully just bringing this new awareness to the same old poses that we've been doing. All right. I've done these poses before, but when your mind is focusing on moving from a different area, it can make the pose feel really different. Hopefully we're waking up that mid-back area and not too much. All right, so I've turned to my other side, set my back leg, any angle toward the back side that's comfortable for you. And of course, if that's not comfortable, put that leg wherever you need. And we'll turn toward the front knee, the bent knee, and we'll forward bend, but we're going to put a back bend in our forward bend. The back bend is at the rib cage. So use your shoulder blades, your hands go anywhere you need to help you get the back bend in your rib cage area. Exhale over. We're going to stay here for the inhale, emphasizing that back bend. And then we're coming up on the exhale. Arms up on the inhale. And sideways. Exhale. Oops, we're going to keep our cactus pose arms. And let the rib cage turn. It's actually practice going in one direction and in the other from the rib cage. Like your friend is steering you from your ribs. Maybe you can imagine a friend has to hold your ribs and they're pulling you back from your ribs. And you focus on keeping your shoulder blades in. And then arms out, shoulder blades in. Lift the rib cage up from the pelvis without lifting the shoulders. Elbow to thigh, shoulder blades in, shoulder blades in. Let that top arm have some fun while keeping your shoulder blades in toward each other. Top arm is sort of icing on the cake. You can do whatever it wants. But in this case, well, as long as it's keeping the shoulder blade in. All right, and then let's come back up. Shoulder blades in, long spine, rib cage lifting up out of the pelvis. And then turn to face forward, cactus pose arms, shoulder blades in. And relax everything. Feels good, doesn't it? And then come to face forward. And a rounded spine, elbows to thighs. Now I want you to wing your shoulder blades out away from each other, just relaxing that area that we pulled in so much today. And you're going to drop one arm down and really let that shoulder blade relax away from the spine. And circle the arm around in one direction and then go in the other. And then really reach for the floor without bending forward. So almost like you're trying to come back upright, but your hand is reaching for the floor. Like someone's pulling you up, but your hand is insisting on finding that floor. Let's do that on the other side. Other arm, dangle it down. Relax the shoulder blade away from the spine. Circles. Both directions. And then without bending forward, in fact, try to come upright a little bit. Let the arm reach down toward the floor. Grow the arm more. Let your arm get longer and longer from the shoulder blade. And then relax back up. All right, so just to emphasize that last movement, raise your arms. And here, if you take your shoulder blades away, your arms should come toward the wall in front of you or toward the screen. And then when you pull your shoulder blades in toward each other, your arms should come away from the screen. Just to see that from the side, let me turn. So from the side, shoulder blades away from each other, my arms go forward. Shoulder blades in toward each other, my arms come back. See how much that shoulder blade can slide around on the ribs. So that's called a gliding joint. The shoulder blade glides over the rib cage. And so you want to have a maximum range of motion of those shoulder blades' ability to glide. Most of us, we can easily pull those arms forward and glide forward, but to pull back and bring those shoulder blades in toward each other, many of us have lost that ability. So see if you can really play with that. Shoulder blades in toward each other. I just have to tell a story on my dad, who's no longer with us. Bless his little heart. But he had some other things going on, and I was trying to help him. I was trying to teach him the shoulder blades moving in toward each other, and I was going like this. And then a couple of weeks later, I said, "How's that going?" And he was like, "I've been doing what you told me, but it didn't help." So it's not just the elbows moving and the upper arm moving. It's not. Let me do this a little closer. So it's not just moving your arms around like this. my shoulder blades aren't moving at all. These shoulder blades move, and as a result, my arms move. Hopefully you can see the difference. I don't know if you can tell from the back. I'll show from the back if you can see. So this is just moving my arms around and not really my shoulder blades. This is my shoulder blades moving, and my arms come back as a result. I don't know if that was visible at all with the lighting, but hopefully that helped. All right, let's start our cool down now. So let's bring our sliders back in front. And take our legs out and in. Out on the inhale, in on the exhale. You can add arms if you like. Let's not focus on the shoulder blade movement. We're just keeping that area a little soft now because we worked it quite a lot already. Inhale, just soft arms and shoulder blades. And if that area feels overworked for you, you can do this kind of hugging kind of movement and hug one arm or both. So we want the shoulder blade area to be worked, but not overworked. All right, and then keeping the knees back, and you don't need your sliders. Heels up, hands to the knees, rounded spine on the exhale. Inhale, heels down, hands slide back, a little baby back bend. Don't emphasize the shoulder blades on that back bend. They might happen, but don't make it happen to overdo that area. Inhale is a little baby back bend. Exhale, around the spine. And then we'll slowly make the back bend less and less. So maybe it's just a little past neutral. And the forward bend a little less and less. So your heels barely lift or not at all. Less and less movement until you're barely moving. Your hands aren't even sliding on your thighs much. And then we'll come to the hands and just palms up on the inhale, palms down on the exhale. Let go of Lujayi if you're still doing Lujayi. Just let the breath relax. Any breath. And you can sit back in your chair if you like now to really rest the upper back area. Chairs in general, when we lean back in chairs, that area dumps. So let's allow that dump to happen now since we worked that area quite a lot today. And let your hands and arms rest anywhere. Relax your face, facial muscles. You got over 80 muscles of your face. All around the eyes, a lot of muscles. Cheeks and jaw. Soften, release. Relax your tongue, down the throat. Release the sternum down, your breastbone down, and the shoulders and down the arms. Soften the belly. Maybe take a couple belly breaths now. Relax from the hips to the knees, your thighs, front, backs, outside and inside of the thighs. All around the knees. And from the knees to the ankles, down the shins, calves, the inner lower leg and the outer. All around the ankles. Heels left and right. Tops of the feet. the bottoms, your arches, and into the ball of the foot. And all of the toes. All right. You may stay there as long as you like. Resting. I thank you for joining me. Namaste. And thank you to You Call This Yoga for making these classes happen for us every week. Have a great week. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, JJ.
Thanks, JJ.
Thanks, Christy. Bye-bye.
Bye.